You had the teeth pulled, you'll get them back. If you've had any surgeries, won't be any scars. Whatever you have wrong with you today, God is going to give you back who you are, but you're going to be a zillion times better. You ain't going to have no bunions on your feet, no broken veins in your legs. You ain't going to have no back pain, none of that stuff. He's going to put you back like you would have been if Adam had never sinned. And everybody's going to know it's you, but you're going to look in the mirror and say, is this really me? My God, I am so good looking. I didn't know I looked like this until I got up here and got this new body. Do you see me? And then you tell the guys that used to say, you want nothing, you were just an old ugly girl. Look at me now. You see what you could have had, Junior. Oh, my. Now, see, I know this thing is going, as old folks say, somewhere else. You ain't seen nothing in Goldsboro yet. You ain't seen nothing. Your minds are getting in the right place to where you're getting on board with where God is going. And you're going to be a part of the most phenomenal outer space journey. The space shuttle ain't got nothing on us. Space shuttle went up there one time and just blew up. And we ain't doing nothing but going up and going further and further out. We're going to get there. We're going to be out there. We're going to Pluto and out there to Saturn. We're going in the spaces beyond. We're going where no man has gone before, as Captain Kirk said. But you got to go there first in your mind. And there's a certain criteria you got to have before you get there. Let me show you this. Psalm 68:18. It says, thou hast ascended on high, thou hast led captivity captive, thou hast received gifts from men. Yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord God might dwell among them. God says, everything that's held you captive, I've already captured it. Everything that's got you, I've already got it. I led all the captivity captive. And then what I did, when I took that junk out of you, now see, this is something we don't understand. When God took the stuff out of you that was holding you captive, he put gifts back in you. But you know what happened? Somebody didn't teach you right in the church structure and let that stuff that he took out of you come back. Crushing your gift right now. Holding your gift captive. And you can't do all that you have been ordained to do. Got to buy another one, boys. This one back. You can't do all you've been ordained to do because that activity that's already been captured has been brought back in your airspace. And now this thing is laying on top of you and these gifts that God has put in you. Now, what happens? You can come to church and start to use those gifts, but they can't manifest fully because a lot of that debris from the things that are now holding you captive again are mixed in with that gifting. So you can sing. You can sing up a storm. But see, God led the pride that's in you captive. But now you can't sing without having to be the star of everything. Because he captured the pride, but the system brought it back. So now you're up here singing, and all you're trying to do is show yourself. You ain't bringing glory to God. You are trying to show who you are, trying to show your wares. God has given you brilliance to do all kinds of things, but you want to make sure that everybody knows your name because it's about you. And God says, I led that captive. But somebody brought it back to you. Your daddy was trying to tell you, say, girl, you got a gift now, but humble yourself. Stay humble. Stay humble. Then here comes some of your old crazy cousins. Girl, you know you got it. Girl, if I were you, look, you need to put these kind of earrings on. I know you're singing gospel music, Lord, and show a little bit of them breasts you got there. And you know, put that. You see, they put you back in that mess. God led it captive. But you jump back on it and let it rule you. We're not understanding how this word works. Go to Isaiah 51. We'll keep this connected. Isaiah 51. Look at verse 9. And it said, awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Lord. Awake, as in the ancient days, in the generations of old. Art thou not it that hath cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? Rahab here is Egypt. Rahab was another name for Egypt. And you find in many, many places when God was bringing his people out, he was talking about bringing them out of Egypt. Now, let me tell you something about what Jesus did during the Passover. The Passover, the Passover, that was simply the act of freeing them from the oppression of Pharaoh and Pharaoh's face. Freeing them, and the dragon represents the world empire. So when Jesus went to the cross, he freed you from the political powers of this earth and made you become a citizen in another kingdom where he is the chief ruler. So the world no longer rules over you, but that's as far as it goes. Nothing else comes out of it. And all you'll do, and based on how we've been taught in America from the days of slavery, is just get saved. That's all. Just get born again. Getting born again, all it will do is get you to heaven when you die. And maybe that's all you want. But when God brought these children of Israel out of Egypt, he said, now I need you to start walking. Need you to stop moving. I want to take you to the promised land, which that was a type of heaven on earth. Because remember now, when they went into the promised land, when the two spies went in and they came out and they had grapes the size of apples. In other words, everything that was bigger and better. So you got to understand, everything God has for you in the kingdom is bigger and better. But see, we're settling for what's outside of the kingdom in the desert, where there are few straggly pieces of bushes, and you may find a little something. So we've been dealing with the desert too long. Notice when he brought them out, brought them across the Red Sea, he was bringing them into Canaan land, but they wandered around in the desert, and one generation had to die. Why? Because they would not change their minds. Notice they were out of Egypt, but they wanted to go back to Egypt. They were not free from the influence of Egypt. So they were never going to get to Canaan land. There were 12 spies, and they went over there and looked. 10 of them came back and said, we can't do it. 2 of them said, we can take them out. We can do this. 10 of them did not have the mind. 10 of them said, let us go back to Egypt where the onions and the meats and leeks and the millions were. They wanted to go back and see Pharaoh's face. You know why? Because Pharaoh had a good welfare system. Let me go back. It takes too much work to do this thing called thinking. It takes too much work to move beyond this captivity. I have been in captivity so long, it's too easy to just sit back and dream about it, but never put a foot forward to make it manifest. It's too easy to just lay back in this stuff and let the things that my ancestors did trick me and trap me. It's too easy to live for my flesh because I had no pleasure when I was in slavery. So now I just want to have anything I want to eat and drink and smoke. I want to have anything I want, and I'll just have it right over here in my little project area. Don't want to own nothing, because Master still owns all that stuff. We are satisfied to get a little shack that Master said we can have. And you stay in that shack until you die. And Jesus said, I want you to have that house. Then I want you to go over here and buy another house. And you're going to pay for that house, and you're going to have this one too. And then what I'm going to have you to do, you're going to let somebody rent that house, make payment on that house, and then you're going to move in this house. But see, the slave master's mentality says, stay in your little shack there, Toby. You don't need nothing else. All I want to do is get off this planet, go on to heaven where I can see my Lord. And my Lord said, Toby, I led your captivity captive, boy. I captured that is trapping you, that did trap you. Why did you not move? Well, Lord, there were just so many obstacles in front of me. Now, let's go right back here. Verse 9, awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Lord. Awake, as in the ancient days, and in the generation of old. Art thou not it that hath cut Egypt, Rahab, and wounded the dragon? Art thou not it which hath dried the sea, the waters of the deep, that hath made the depths of the sea a way for the ransomed to pass over? The ransom. Let me tell you who they are. Now, ransom is the word jelumin or jelulim, and it's a verb meaning to act as a kinsman redeemer. In other words, these people were kin to God. And God said, I am going to buy my kinsman back. I'm going to go in and whip some Egyptian rear end. I'm going to tear some stuff down. But I'm going to get who is rightfully mine. He said, these are not people I don't know. I know them. They are kin to me. I am their father. I know you over here in America, and they done told you that you ain't nothing but a bunch of old black ex-slaves, but I'm telling you, you're Hebrew Israelites. You are people that's connected to the living God, and he has come to redeem his kinsman back. So you know what he's going to do? That thing that he had already led captive in you one time, that crazy mind, that pride, that drug addiction, that alcohol, that homosexuality, he'd already led it captive one time. I'm coming to buy you back now. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to take you out of this mess and put you where you ought to be. Oh, my. You see, I'm kin to somebody who's bigger than everything. That's right. I am connected with somebody who made the whole world. I am connected with somebody that's bigger than any man, any system, and he's come to buy me back. Ransomed me. And look at what he said in verse 10. Art thou not it which hath dried the sea, the waters of the great deep, that hath made the depths of the sea a way for the ransomed to pass over? Do you understand, baby? You don't have anything that's so deep and so boisterous that God won't dry it up and let you walk across, because he is your kinsman. You connected. And he said, I told the wind. You see, your kinsman owns the east wind. Now, see, them folk down there in Texas right now, they tripping. Because they can't figure out, why would these storms come all up in the city like they did, all out here by the airport? Usually the storms, they stay out here on the plain. They don't normally come in. Well, see, your kinsman said, they done killed more folk than anybody else in the country. They hung more black folk than anybody else. And he said, they got more laws down there to let you kill folk or stand your ground law, just like Florida. He said, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go right on up in there where they live. Going right on up in there. Wind, go. Wind said, hey, we got orders. We got to go up there in Texas now. God said, don't tear everything down, but make them know that the Kinsman Redeemer is on the warpath. And he's about to get his folk out of some stuff. He said, let them know that I ain't playing with them no more. See, we don't even realize what a powerful and unique place we're in right now. We don't even know how to take advantage of what God's about to do for us, because we still acting silly. I don't like him. I don't like her. Who she thinks she is. Still acting silly. Don't even know how to connect. Put your resources together, make some stuff happen. And see, if we do put our resources together and make stuff happen, we have been beat down so long, we don't know how to stay in our place and let the one that can run it, run it. You see, you have no problem investing your money with the white man. Don't ask him nothing. Put it out there, invest it in a stock or whatever, and just wait for your statement to come and see what it says. You ain't calling him on no telephone. Well, how things going? I think, didn't I just hear you bought a Mercedes? What you doing with my money? But if I do that, you got to be riding around my house, see what I'm driving. That's right. You can't handle that. Jacob drove up here with a truck. Where you get that from? I wonder if he's spending our money. You don't ask that white broker that. He'll send you a statement, negative, loss. Well, you done lost $5,000. Well, don't say a cotton picking thing. Well, they'll say, well, I hope next quarter be better. But if I take a quarter, that Negro done stole my quarter. We got to tear this stuff down, folks. You got to preach the hell out of these demons. Got to get this stuff out of folk. Billionaires are sitting in this room. Sitting in this room. You got the ability and the power. Ain't starting with millions. We going to the B. The billionaire club. But despise not small beginnings. Get up and get going. Get moving in what you got. Because God is able to take you to the next phase. He's able to get you there. All he wants is somebody, when he said in his word, when I come, let me find you up and do. He said, occupy till I come. Know what that means? The word occupy means to travel, to trade, to invest, to move about, and take resources and make them work. That's what he meant by occupy. We think occupy, well, this is my chair. What's she doing sitting in my chair? Somebody been sitting in my chair. Ownership of a chair. Because your grandmama bought a window and a chair, and you having a fit. God says, you tell my folk, he said, you better preach these old crazy demons off, folk. You see, I ain't upset with you because I know what controls us. Because I had them controlling me. Demons of fear had me on lockdown. Had the knowledge to know how, but was afraid to take a step. Well, Lord, what the other preachers going to say? What they going to say? I could care less. I'm a revolutionary. I'm an apostolic revolutionary. I ain't trying to make nobody be settled. I'm trying to tell you, get out there and get it done. Move in what's in you. Greater is he that is in you than he that's in the world. Quit sitting back, hoping something happens. Get up and make something happen, for God's sake. Stay with it till it manifests. That's where I am. And that's where I'm going to stay. And you ain't heard no preaching yet. You ain't seen no knocking down no devils yet. I'm just getting ready to fly. I ain't even took off yet. I'm on the runway. DJ, you are cleared for takeoff. I'm getting ready to go there. So you better get on the plane. Because we getting ready to fly. Oh, you ought to just praise him for just a minute. Hallelujah. Woo! Oh! Woo! Jesus. All right, so y'all sit down. I ain't going to finish this, but I want to get a couple more verses in here. Oh, my. You ain't seen nothing yet. My. He said, we're the ransomed. A kinsman redeemer. means to act as a redeemer for a deceased kinsman, as in Ruth, to redeem or buy back from bondage. The Israelites had to buy their brothers back if they were sold to the aliens that came into the land, or either sold to another Israelite. They had to go buy them back. One of the most powerful evangelistic tools is this right here. Going to buy a brother back. Do you know that because your Lord is a kinsman redeemer, you become one too? And then evangelistically, you ought to go get your brothers and sisters and bring them back to the kingdom, because they're Israelites too, even though they may be just as crazy as a loon. But you got authority to keep speaking. I know you're on this corner, you're cracking out right now, cracking up. But in the name of Jesus, I'm pulling that demon out. After a while, that demon is going to have to say, oh, God, there they come again. I'm leaving. And next thing you know, he's going to follow you to church. Then we got to go to work on rebuilding him. But see, the church in America, we don't want any challenge. We don't want no challenge. I just want to go to church, because church in America is a lazy church. Lazy. Just want to go to church, have a good time, then go home. But see, the Lord keeps talking to me about this kinsman redeemer thing. It means to redeem or buy back from bondage, as in Leviticus 25:48. To redeem or buy back a kinsman's possession. Now, that's another whole teaching right there. You see, if we understood, Israel was trained before they got so caught up in all these other systems. If one of their kinsmen lost something, they got their resources together and went and bought that back. Now, what they would do, if that kinsman had not learned how to properly maintain the other kinsman that bought it back, they kept it. And they trained, and then when he got to where he could handle it, they would release it back to him, and then he would then go to work on making sure he could make restitution. You see, we lost that in our culture. Let me tell you what black folk do. We'll come get something from you and think because you got it, you ought to give it, and I don't owe you nothing. We've lost that. Lord, I ain't got time to deal with all this stuff. He said, verse 11, therefore the redeemed of the Lord shall return and come with singing unto Zion. The redeemed of the Lord, they shall return. In other words, when God comes to buy us back, we're coming back. And we're coming back with singing and with joy. Because we know that we have been bought back from the captivity that have led us captive. He said, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. How long is everlasting? Well, now, that means that if it's everlasting, you ought not have no bouts of depression. Didn't say you wouldn't have a moment. You may have a few days. Well, I ain't feeling too good today. But if everlasting joy is on your head, that means that the joy can be nothing less than lasting forever. So now, why are we so sad, beat down, beat up? We come to church whining, complaining, and whining. We don't come in with any joy. We don't come in with any dancing or shouting. We just come in and we just stand like, see what y'all can do for me. That's how we do it. Got 2 minutes and 44 seconds. And everlasting joy shall be upon their head. They shall obtain gladness and joy. And sorrow and mourning shall flee. Flee, 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 flee away. Sorrow and mourning is supposed to be running from you, not waiting on you. The joy is supposed to be, he said, they shall obtain. Know what that means? He's going to put everlasting joy in your head, but you'll have moments where you won't feel so good, but you can obtain it back by your confession. What did you confess? What did you say? Lord, I feel so bad today. You ain't going to obtain nothing. It's on your head, but you're not going to obtain it. Not feeling too good right now, but give me about 5 minutes, and I'll be straight, because I'm coming up out of this. Now let me tell you something about deliverance. You know, we wouldn't have to have demon rolling festivals on the floor. If you understood how to obtain. Obtain goes along with resist. Resist the devil and he will flee. Now, what did this say? That this mourning and sadness would do what? Flee. Do you see the connection? Mourning and sadness come from the devil. And if you don't understand how to obtain, you will stay depressed. I have to grab hold of myself and pull myself back when pain kicks up. Because pain will make you say things you wouldn't say. Pain will make you feel things and think things you wouldn't think. Pain will make you take drugs you wouldn't take. Pain will make you suicidal. Yes, it will. Obtain. Make stuff flee. Now look at this. He said, even I am he that comforteth you, your kinsman redeemer. Who art thou that thou shouldest be afraid of a man that shall die? He's asking you, who are you that you're going to be scared of another man? He said, where did you come from? You're not kin to me, are you? You're not related to me, Yahweh said, because I'm not afraid of anything or anybody. And I am your kinsman redeemer. He said, evidently, you don't have my DNA, do you? Evidently, you're not plugged into me like you ought to be. He said, what you have, I led your captivity captive, but you went back to your oppressor and you let him reconnect that DNA that I'd taken away from you. He had it because it came from his father. And he got it back from his father and sent it back to you through his words. And once you started to hear it, your DNA started to reformulate, and all of a sudden, you are now embedded with a spirit of fear. He said, because you've been listening to the wrong kingdom. Who art thou? Now, this is God asking his kinfolk the question. Now, see, there's one of my brothers sitting back there. I don't have to ask him, is he my brother? There's one of my sisters. I don't have to ask her. We look like each other. There's one of my children back there. Here's my wife. I don't have to ask her, well, who are you? But now, if she starts getting crazy, like she ain't connect with me, who are you? That's what Yahweh's doing. Who are you? Who you? I ain't afraid of no man. Why you afraid of a man? Who are you? He's asking a question because he's disturbed behind your behavior. You kin to me? I don't know, man. Well, you kin to me now. Who are you, dude? I thought we had the same mom and daddy. What's wrong with you? That's what he's asking. Yes, sir. Why are you scared of him? Why are you running from him? This is your God, your kinsman redeemer, that has ransomed you. And he said, be afraid of a man that shall die, and of the Son of Man, which shall be made as grass. You know what that means? He said, these people oppress you, and then when their children are born, they carry on the legacy. And here you are 60 years old, and you're scared of his 10-year-old boy. You scared his 10-year-old boy because you know that's Mr. Gilmore's son. I'm going to stop here on verse 13. And forgettest the Lord thy maker. Now he said, because you're scared, you forget God. Anytime you're fearful,